Information about the article. The Research Institute Andishe Online Germany, AOG, conducted this study as part of an investigative research program. Research, investigation, and translation, Faramarz Tabesh. Date of publication: English, Persian, and German editions, on August 1, 2024. Dear readers, please be advised that all mathematical equations in this article are patented. I appreciate your understanding.
In commemoration of the 129th anniversary of Master Elahi's birth. The extension of relativity's theory, the beginning. From the perspective of the present investigation. Preface. Annually, in conjunction with the commemoration of Master Elahi's birthday, the Research Institute Andishe Online Germany, AOG, prepares an article in Persian, English, German, and occasionally in other languages and publishes it on the respective websites. In commemoration of Master Elahi's 129th anniversary of birth, the Research Institute Andishe Online Germany, AOG, has prepared an article entitled The Extension of Relativity's Theory. This article aims to provide a concise and accessible overview of the subject matter despite its potential complexity. Readers are recommended to engage with the article to understand the subject matter comprehensively and access the unique information presented at the article's conclusion. In order to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the content, it is essential to study this article with an objective and unbiased mindset. Because I believe we, the Earthlings, hear and see what we want to hear or see, not necessarily the truth and reality. It can be reasonably posited that reality's perception is not necessarily aligned with objective truth. Instead, our interpretation of information is often heavily influenced by our personal biases and preferences, shaping our unique reality. It is a fundamental truth that humans tend to perceive and interpret information in a manner that aligns with their beliefs and expectations. This selectivity, which can be observed in both conscious and subconscious cognitive processes, results in the perception of information that aligns with one's perspective rather than an objective representation of reality. In this article, prepared on the occasion of Master Elahi's 129th birthday, we analyze the world and its creation from our specific perspective. This article has been published in 3 languages in the following formats: text, audio, and video. Master Elahi. Master Elahi, known as Ustad Elahi, was born on September 11, 1895, in Jayhunabad in western Iran. He was a contemporary thinker, philosopher, mystic, virtuoso musician, and heir to a centuries-old spirituality. He was also a highly respected professional judge and developed a spiritual system that he described as the Perfection Process University, or Soul Medicine. This system considers and analyzes the material and quantum aspects of the human being. The content of his books on the future of humanity and how we should live on Earth can be considered the rules of the New World Order. For more information on this topic, please refer to the Research Institute's website, Biography section. quantum dimension. With a straightforward interpretation, we at the Research Institute AOG define this term as follows. There is no dead entity in the universe. Basically, there is no death and no nothingness in any dimension. Every being has an immaterial dimension that cannot be seen. This dimension is a magnetic field that has a database. With the data of this database, the magnetic field controls everything related to the material part of it. The quantum dimension is a dimension in which objects' magnetic fields, souls, constantly interact. This dimension has a very complex but law-abiding fluidity. Analyzing and interpreting these events with current conventional physics is almost impossible. To resolve this issue, logical alterations within this scientific discipline are essential. In particular, it is crucial to consider the limitations of conventional quantum mechanics. Metaphysics. To allow a deeper connection with the content of this article, it is necessary to provide a new definition of the term metaphysics. In this context, the usual definitions of this term can be dispensed with for the time being, since the AOG Research Institute has its definition, which is as follows. The field of science, in its most expansive sense, encompasses a body of knowledge that has yet to be fully acknowledged and discussed within the conventional academic establishment. Starting point. The phenomenon light. In essence, the Research Institute's perspective on light is more expansive than what science has achieved thus far. In physical science, light is defined as an electromagnetic phenomenon comprising visible and invisible components. The fundamental properties of light, as defined by this science, include intensity, direction of propagation, frequency or wavelength spectrum, and polarization. The speed at which light travels in a vacuum is 299,792,458 meters per second. Physicists in various fields, including optics, propose that visible light is propagated by massless elementary particles called photons. Consequently, it can exhibit both wave and particle properties. In this regard, physics presents a general thesis that light is one of the fundamental constants of nature, the source of which is the sun. It is notable that while the effects of light on living organisms, including the growth of plants through photosynthesis, have been extensively studied by physicists, the mental and psychological impact of this natural phenomenon has not received the same level of attention. As previously stated, the Research Institute, in alignment with the teachings of Master Elahi, posits that the effects of light extend far beyond the scope of scientific understanding. One of the most valuable properties of light is that it carries data that is rich in information. This topic will be addressed in a subsequent article. This article examines the light emanating from the primary source of creation, as opposed to the light produced by the sun. Middle point. Einstein's theory of special relativity. Special relativity is a theory of the structure of spacetime. It was introduced in Einstein's 1905 paper on the electrodynamics of moving bodies. Special relativity is based on two postulates that are contradictory in classical mechanics. 1. The principle of relativity, The laws of physics are the same for all observers in any inertial frame of reference relative to each other. 2. Principle of the constancy of the speed of light. The speed of light in a vacuum is considered a universal constant independent of the observer's motion or the light source. The theory of special relativity demonstrated that the speed of light represents a limit that can be approached but not reached by any material object. This insight gave rise to the most celebrated equation in science, E equals mc squared, which elucidates the relationship between mass and energy. Although this theory has some paradoxes, we believe that the principle of the constant speed of light in space for a moving or stationary observer is correct. The remainder of this article will present further explanations. The following quote from the Master is directly relevant to the matters discussed above. Last night, I had to go somewhere and do something. I separated from my body, put my body in a pool of water, and left. Master Elahi, Asar 1, Word 1983, Section 1. This quote confirms the theory of special relativity, which believes that material physical objects cannot move at the speed of light. It should be noted that the present study is not intended to analyze the above quotation. Instead, it is assumed that physical motion at the speed of light is to be regarded as impossible, even in metaphysics. However, this limitation does not exist in the quantum dimension of the true self. One must learn the technique of utilizing it. This hypothesis will be empirically validated in the future and will be applicable to space sciences. The following quote can be related to the general theory of relativity. There is no vacuum in space. Because vacuum means annihilation, and annihilation cannot exist in the universe. Master Elahi, Asar 1, Word 1062, Section 2. This word of Master Elahi is a confirmation of at least 3 points of general relativity. First, general relativity links gravity to the geometry of spacetime itself, particularly its curvature. Second, in general relativity, spacetime is not flat, but is curved by the presence of massive bodies. Third, the curvature of spacetime affects the motion of massive bodies within it. In the scientific literature, the term vacuum is typically associated with the concepts of nothingness, emptiness, or non-existence. This leads to the question of how it is possible for a nothing to be a curvilinear phenomenon. Consequently, the hypothesis that some form of invisible, curvable matter exists in space is plausible. In this context, a postulated form of dark matter in space can be an illustrative example. Final point. The theory of the constancy of the properties of light in a unique sense. Two completely different worlds. 1. The whole existence with its two material and quantum dimensions. 2. The perfect world above the cause and effect system with only one immaterial dimension. Here, our desired subject is the first part of what has been said above. In short, according to Master Elahi's account of the creation of existence, the original and eternal source of creation, in a situation where time and space did not yet exist, concentrated a tremendous power in a specific point. The Master called this point Mahayat. In order to save time and not prolong this article, Mahayat can be considered the source of creation, including the light emanating from the galaxy's suns. Additionally, the Mahayat is regarded as the primary cause of the Big Bang. Let us now continue the discussion using 2 points from Albert Einstein's perspective on special relativity. A. No material body can reach the speed of light. B. The speed of light in a vacuum is constant for an observer in any position. A theoretical analysis of Case A. I find it challenging to agree with this theory without considering some exceptions. The logical reason is that when one considers the distances between galaxies, universes, and multiverses, even the speed of light is considered a plodding and inefficient speed in space. Consequently, traveling to distant planets at the speed of light is impossible. It is, therefore, imperative to achieve a velocity that is significantly greater than the velocity of light. This is a rather absurd notion that we are unable to travel to other galaxies because we are incapable of reaching the speed of light. It is a fallacy to believe that there is an unsolvable problem for human beings. In his works, Master Elahi references the science of ancient civilizations, which indicates that people of that era were capable of traveling to distant planets in a relatively brief period. In previous civilizations, humanity had reached a point where they could travel through space at a speed exceeding the speed of light with a device and reach other planets. Master Elahi, Asar 1, Word 541, Section 1. However, we now utilize Einstein's theory in a novel manner, positing that traversing vast distances in space is not feasible with the physical body but rather through the soul. It is conceivable that in the future, humanity may be able to simulate the experiences of spiritual journeys to distant planets in other galaxies using artificial intelligence, AI, and present them as scientific documentaries. In this context, it is reasonable to posit that scientists will succeed in converting matter of a particular form, for example, a human being, into energy. This energy will not be mixed with other energy fields or interact with them. Subsequently, this energy can be reintroduced into the original material form at a different point in space. This will be one method of traversing interstellar distances. In this context, it is crucial to acknowledge that a substantial portion of the phenomena commonly referred to as human imagination may be interpreted as information from the future that exists in space. Some individuals can receive, understand, and reflect upon this data. One of those people was Albert Einstein. For further insight, it may be beneficial to consult the theory of tachyons, as presented in the article, The Quantum Parallel Worlds. Philosophical summary. Mahayat is the origin of light in its pure and original sense. In another sense, Mahayat is, among other things, the producer of light. By generalizing the second point of view of special relativity, it can be said that this eternal and primary source of creating light has the following properties. 1. The speed of light emitted by this source is always constant for all beings in the universe. 2. It is possible to approach this source only through the soul, immaterial dimension. 3. It is possible to approach this source of energy and light only through the maturity and perfection of the soul. 4. The more a soul attains perfection, the more it will be able to approach this source. This is also true in reverse. 5. The proximity and distance of creatures to this source have no effect on it. 6. The closer you get to this source, the more the concentration of light and energy increases, and this means that you receive more information about yourself and the universe. 7. This source has established the laws of existence for each type of creature. Therefore, imposing other principles on the moving beings is unnecessary. Since this movement is entirely free and voluntary, the gravity created by this light source has ensured that the creatures will reach the end of the path. The strength of the attraction that a magnetic field, in this case, the soul, experiences from a light source is directly proportional to the proximity of the magnetic field to the light source. 8. Once you have reached this source, you will find he has always talked to and taken the necessary care of you without assigning you tasks or dictating conditions. Although these cares are general and the same for everyone, they take different forms according to people's degrees of perfection. A mathematical conclusion. 1.10. The following mathematical representations are valid on Earth and in the intermediate world, Barzakh. All equations are patented. Please note the following mathematical equations in the text and video format of this article. The formula presented here was developed for the book Biology of the Quantum Dimension, and can be found in its original form in German and Persian articles as well as in this one. A step-by-step explanation of the above formula has been omitted to avoid unnecessary complexity. Instead, a general and straightforward description is provided here. This approach is justified by the fact that the formula is, in any case, indirectly related to this article. The outcome of the intricate calculations above demonstrates that a more robust true self can transmit a greater quantity of data. It can also receive and analyze a significantly larger volume of data and comprehend the results with tremendous precision. It is crucial to recognize that the strength of a true self is contingent upon its degree of perfection. From these equations, it can be concluded that a person who has reached ultimate spiritual perfection has a deeper understanding of the source and main origin of creation and can approach that source of energy more quickly without affecting the speed and condition of the source. One of the reasons for this phenomenon is that in this quantum state, there is no dimension of time and no dimension of space. In the world of perfection, souls can very quickly remember past events and explain them to others. For example, a powerful soul can very quickly and with absolute accuracy remember all the contents of Maulana's Masnawi and explain the same contents to another soul of the same level. Of course, if the receiving soul has a lesser degree of perfection and power, the recipient of that soul will benefit from these effects only to the extent of its power, although the stronger soul will spread the same effects. Furthermore, with the greatest accuracy and speed, the same strong soul can remember and explain its many lives to others. Master Elahi, Asar 1, Word 882, Section 2. It must be noted that this topic is considerably more complex than what has been covered in this article. The union of a fully evolved true self with the light source generates many complex interactions that cannot be fully described in conventional quantum physics. I appreciate your attention to this article and congratulate Master Elahi's birthday to his students. Furthermore, the Research Institute AOG has designated the 11th of September as the day of the Master Elahi. Faramarz Tabesh. Please pay attention to the photo gallery, footnotes, and sources.